Hello my friends, welcome to Tassel Tuesday. By special request by Mimi with Love, that's Melissa, she asked if I could make a bohemian tassel. And I was very excited and said yes, of course. So I went to Joann Fabrics and that's where I got these, and I got these in the bulk fabric section, and I just had them cut 1/4 of a yard for me of each one of these. So you can see 1/4 of a yard is however many inches wide. If I'm guessing, I'm looking at 9 here, and I'm guessing, like I said. And it's, if I open this up, it's really long. So this, and here's the other side of this one, by the way. So this is more than enough to create one tassel. So maybe I'll go ahead, actually, yeah. I'll go ahead and make a tassel kit, a bohemian tassel kit. So this is the first fabric that I got. Here's the second one. Let me open it up because you'll see that the colors, you know, change as the fabric goes. And there's colors on both sides, which is nice. Some fabrics, as you all know, have color on one side, but not so much on the other. But this one's got both, and so does this one. Let's check this one. Now this one I love too. And so here this one is. And when we open it up, there is still a pattern. So I'm really happy about that. Now, as you guys may or may not know, actually, when I get requested to do a certain style of tassel. Oh, sorry, I was working with jewelry stuff and I left that on. I like to look up the definition so that I can stay as true to it as possible. So when she asked for boho, I said, I'm going to look up exactly what boho means because I've looked it up before and it had a different definition than this. But this one says, socially unconventional, in a way regarded as characteristic of creative artists. So I thought that was interesting. Now most of you know that a boho journal is jewel tones. It's bright, deep, actually more deep than bright, but more intense colors. And that is why I picked these up. These are all very gorgeous and intense. So that's why I picked these up. Now, I'll be right back. I'm going to find another definition. Okay, let's go one step further here. So next, and this talks about style of dress, but it says it is boho chic is a style of fashion drawing on various bohemian and hippie influences. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of it because it's not important, but that's getting a little bit closer. When I looked up the word bohemian, and boho is short for that, it said something like, and we'll go find it, but it said something like the true definition was like from the gypsies. And let me go see if I can find that when I look up bohemian. Okay, so let me add a little to the first definition. So I looked up the entire word bohemian, and it also says a socially unconventional person, especially one who is involved in the arts. But let's go down to the origin. So this says it started centuries ago in Western Europe in the 1600s. Bohemian was a synonym for gypsy, based on the belief that gypsies had originated in Bohemia and migrated to Europe. At some point they passed through Central Europe and Bohemia on their journeys and spread out through Europe. All right, so I wanted to pull up some pictures of some Bohemian gypsies, and here are some photographs of them. I will try to zoom in when I am editing. Actually, let me see if I can lift my phone up to my camera, and I'm trying to keep the glare off of it. So here you go. You can see what the gypsies look like. Oops. And oops, there we go. So there's some more photos. This one is obviously a commercial sort of photo, but this one looks older. Obviously, it's probably not 1600s, but although, I don't know, this looks like a painting, it actually could be. Let me get a little closer there for you. So that looks like an oil painting, so that could be from a very long time ago. So, and you can see in this that she is wearing bright red, and there's some bright green in there. And even this photograph, there's deep, rich colors. There's teal. Her dress seems to be like almost black, and then it's got these deep red strips of fabric in it. So guys, that's your history on really what boho means. Just wanted to share that with you because I've heard some people say, oh, boho means it's just a free-for-all and you do whatever you want. Well, not really. It's not really that. It's these deep, rich colors, lots of texture, lots of layers, very gypsy-like if you're staying true to the definition of boho or bohemian. So there you go. Let's get started on our tassel. For those of you who are new to Tassel Tuesday, I want to thank you so much for being here. I don't give history lessons every Tassel Tuesday, but I did this time because I had heard so many different thoughts on what boho meant, and I just wanted to share the origins of it so everybody just kind of knew. I mean, you can do it however you want to, but those are the true origins of it, so I just wanted to share that. All right, so today we're going to be doing basically a very fast track tutorial for anybody who's new. So if you are, what I do is, when I'm working with fabric, I snip my fabric about 1/2 inch and then I tear it. Now I'm not going to do all of these on camera, but I just want to show you that that's what I do. And I'll be doing that to both of these. And then I'll show you the next step. Once I tear the fabrics, you'll notice, and once you tear fabrics, you'll notice that there are some strands that hang off the edges. I just pull them off and I throw them in a pile, and then I discard them. So that's, we tear the fabric and then we pull off the little extras. All right, friends, once your fibers are cut, and by the way, there's a lot of different ways to make tassels. This is just how I make my puff top tassels. Sometime we'll make some other tassels and I'll show you there's ways to wrap it around something and cut it, and it's a real clean cut and all that, but this is how we do this type of tassel. Once you've got your strips torn and then you've pulled off your little extra pieces that are kind of shedding, and that happens just because you tear them, then you decide how long you want it, but you have to remember that you're going to basically be folding it in half. And then you're going to be tying off, not necessarily, you could have a cap up here, but I'm going to make a puff top most likely. So this is about 10 to 12 inches long. That's a little bit long for a tassel, but I don't care. I like my tassels like that, and they can always be trimmed when you're done with them, so no big deal. So that's what we've got. Now, after all of that is done, then we begin to do our layering. Well, actually, before we do that, guys, I want to show you, I did buy some ribbon. I got purple, green, and gold. And we're gonna work some of that in. And I just realized that that's the color of Mardi Gras, which is funny. But they go so wonderfully with the fabrics that I had purchased, so that's why I chose these. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some of these to the length of the fabric, and I will be right back. Okay, friends, so I was able to cut the ribbon, and I have enough for 2 pieces of each color in the tassel and in 2 tassel kits that I'm going to go ahead and make for the boho tassel. Now we're going to start with laying out our fabric, and I do a crisscross pattern. And that's something that pretty much I've always done because it makes the puff top a little puffier. Now, for a boho tassel, I don't feel like it needs to be as puffy because this is a little bit of a different look that we're going for. We're kind of going for not super structured, again, keeping in mind the whole gypsy feeling of things that are maybe a bit tattered, a bit torn, so the tearing of the fabric is perfect, but tattered, torn, worn, but yet very rich in color. So that's what we're going for here. And so I'm not going to go, I'm not going to fan out real wide with my fabric as far as the way I'm crisscrossing. I'll just go this far. I won't go like super wide with it. We're going to keep this a little bit thinner at the top. Okay, you can see now that I've got a pretty good stack going here. I'm not done, but now it's time to go ahead and bring in some of the ribbon. So typically what I do is I'll bring in a piece of ribbon, and then I'll bring in my next piece of fabric, and then I will bring in another ribbon, and then another piece of fabric. So I continue to layer everything. All right, my friends, now what we do is we take a piece of our fabric and we make our handle. So we just put it underneath the center. Now, some people like to measure exact center. I'm really good at eyeballing it, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But basically, once I take my fabric underneath, and then I pull it together, then I can just check it, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna hold it up in the air, and I might tug on this side just a tiny bit. If you hold it up in the air, you can get a little bit better of a view. No, I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. So then what we do, and our seasoned viewers already know that we tie a double knot here in the center, but if you're new and you're just watching to see how I make a Jovi tassel, and this is how I do it. So we've got this part secured now, and now we're going to go ahead and this will become the handle, and I'm going to go ahead and just do a knot. And I like to make the handles pretty big in case somebody wants to put over a doorknob or a bedpost or a chair, but they can always, I don't tighten it too much, they can always untie it and make it smaller, or they can cut it or whatever. But this one has, as you can see, plenty of room to be able to put pretty much anywhere you wanted. And like if I was gonna keep it, I wouldn't have it quite that big, but I like to leave that option for people. So we've got that part done, and now let's check this out. So typically what we do is we take our fabric and, whoops, and I put it underneath my tassel, and I tie it off about an inch down depending on how puffy it is. Now this one's not as puffy, and I didn't want it as puffy, so this one's going quite well, and I'm really happy with it. But I'm thinking of tying it off even closer to the top, just to, you know, do something a little bit different. We're gonna do not so much of a puff top, so you can see me tugging on these fibers, just pulling them down, and I can tug more on them later, but I wanna get them pulled down before I do the, you know, major part of the tightening. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna just tug on these a little bit more, and it'll just flatten everything out a little bit. So this tassel will not be a puff top tassel. And now we're just gonna double knot that. All right, I think I like that. If I decide that I don't, I can always loosen it and pull this down a little bit. But now I'm gonna go get some jewels, and let's go ahead and embellish this. Actually, friends, before we embellish it, I'm holding it, I'm shaking it out a little bit, and now I'm going to pull it, and I'm just gonna cut these little extra long stragglers. Oh, this gold, I know, is not that long, so let me see if I can find a short one in here. There we go. I must have tugged on it or something. All right, let's try that again. Okay, now we're good. It's all just fabric. And there we go. All right, and I don't mind a few long ones sticking out here and there. I think that looks actually quite nice. All right, now I'm gonna go get some jewels. All right, friends, as you can see, I have grabbed a bunch of beads and some bling that we're gonna see if we wanna work with. And then you can see I have all my hardware here. The colors we're gonna work with are gonna be purple, blue, green, and gold or yellowish. There's a few beads in here that have a yellow, but that kind of will work with the gold family. So that's what I've brought over, and I also have these, and there's purple in here. There's blue too, actually. So we might use some of these. too. So anyway, we'll have those handy. And then I just brought a bunch of these because I don't know what sizes I want to use and all that. So I will be right back. I'm going to gather my thoughts on this. All right, friends, so anything that I make for this one, I want to make for my two kits. And it doesn't have to be exact, but I want it to be as close as possible. I have decided to use glass and stone. I'm not going to use any of the plastic beads. I don't think that it would do this tassel justice. I think it would just end up looking fake, and that is not the look I'm going for here. If you see that my fingers have purple on them, it's because I was dyeing papers this morning and having a lot of fun doing that. Oh yeah, see, like that combo is gonna look really cool together. All right, so guys, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna just put some things together, and then I will come back and show you what I did. I mean, this is pretty easy. I'll show you I have these eye pins, and I have two different sizes. I have the long, and then I have shorter ones, and then of course I have this, and then I have my needle nose pliers, which I got from BB Craft, and I love them. They're fantastic. So the tools are fairly simple for making the bead dangles. Oh, and I have these gorgeous purple glass beads in here too that I will probably end up using. I don't know if this is something that you want to sit here and watch me do, or if you just want me to show you what they look like when they're done, and that's probably what I will end up doing. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna play and I'll be back. All right, friends, I made the bead dangles, and so I'm gonna show them to you, and I will zoom in on them, but I think this one is gorgeous. It's got like this bronze color, and then the green, and then the lime, and then purple, and then a darker purple, and then the lime again. I absolutely love that one. And then I have this one. Now, all three of these are the same, no problem there. And then when it came to these that I made, this one is a little different. It's got a smaller stone right here. The large one that I had chosen, it doesn't work because it's, can you see in there? It's too wide. So it doesn't get strung on here. I could string it straight onto the fabric, but not on these. So this one will go on the tassel, and then these two will go in the kit. So I think that's gonna work out just fine. And then I made three of these. And the only difference between these these two are identical basically, and these are actual stones, so that's nice. And then these are glass beads. This one here is just a little smaller. You can see it doesn't hang down as low, and the stone is just a tiny bit smaller. So this one will go on the tassel, and then these other two will go in the kits. And that way I'm keeping the kits consistent with each other, and there's not a problem. And then I made three of these. These are all identical. So there's 6 small lime green beads, and then one like almost clear one. It's like a very light yellow, very light, like it looks almost white or clear. There's just a very slight hue. Anyway, all three of these are exactly the same. So that's what I made. I'm gonna go ahead, I actually had a lot of these white beads, and I strung them, but not for this tassel. So you know, I just did that because I like the way they look on the bulb pins, but like I said, not for this tassel. So I'm gonna put these on the tassel and you know, see if we need more or not. So that's what we're gonna do now. All right, friends, I made one change before we put them onto the tassel. So remember this piece that I made? Well, I went ahead and put it on a bulb pin with some of these clear ones, and so it'll kind of dangle long, which I think that'll be really nice. So what we've got to work with as far as putting on our tassel are 4 different bead dangles, and the same for the kit. Hey friends, another thing we need to talk about before we put the small dangles on is a centerpiece. So I've got only one of these, and that does look good. And then for the kits, I could put these with, oh gosh, that's pretty. I could put these with the kits. And I think that would be really pretty. So, and I only have 2, I don't have 3. So I think that's beautiful. And so I think I'll go ahead and add that to the kit. I will put 2 O-rings or jump rings on it. And then those can be removed if you didn't want them, but at least you'll have something that, like I'll use one of the large ones that I have here, and that way it can be tied through a ribbon or the fabric or whatever. And maybe I'll even attach one of the gold bulb pins, because you know, you could use it or not, but at least it will be in the kit and you can use it if you want to. So let's do that, because that does look really good. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's fantastic. So we'll do that. And then on this one, we will go ahead and attach this one. So, and then we'll do the smaller bead dangles. So this was an earring. So I am gonna go ahead, figure out how I want to attach this. I wonder if I could slide this underneath here. Well, that worked, and it was super easy to do. So that's cool. Okay, so now we're just gonna go ahead and add our little bead dangles. So I'm gonna need some jump rings. And I have to decide, am I tying it on? Do I wanna use bulb pins and just pin them on? I mean, I could just use bulb pins and then I'm not, you know, having to tie a knot in something. Let's check it with the bulb pin. It does make it simple, and it adds a little more bling. This, I think I will just put down here, because it's small, so I'll put it near the end and just on the gold. And there we go. So that's hanging nicely. And then we've got, this is already on a bulb pin, so let's decide where we want that. Maybe I want that on this green. No, I think I'd rather have it over on a blue. So let's see. Or I could do it, oh, it looks pretty with that. Let's try it, although this purple one's kind of in the front. I'm gonna hang this up real quick so I can kind of see how the fibers are hanging. Well, this green one is very prominent, so let's put this one on the green, and I'm trying to decide, do I want it like this, or do I want it like that? I think I want it with the green up. Yeah, I do. And so this one's up here, so I'm gonna do this one a little bit lower. I'm sorry you guys can't see it when I added it on there. And now we just have this one. So this one's gonna look super pretty on this purple one. And so I'm gonna stagger these, so I'm gonna do it a little bit lower. Not at the end of the tassel, but near it. And then I'll lay this down on the table so that you can see the placement, and then I'll take a picture of it hanging so that you can see that. So here's the tassel, and our top jewel is here. Then the next one down is here hanging on the green. Then the third one down is here hanging on the purple. And then this one is hanging on this gold. And it's just a small one. It's just like a little extra piece of bling. Here are some pictures of our finished tassel. And here are some pictures of the kit. And this is what it will look like when it's built with the kit. Thanks for watching. See you soon.